Good morning, children. Let us start lesson 4 Birds' Behavior. There are about 8,600 species of birds. They are the only animals with feathers. Feathers keep them warm and make them fly. Like other living beings, birds also need food. Some birds eat grains, seeds, and fruits, while some others eat flesh and small insects. Birds use their beaks and claws for getting food. Children, in this chapter, you will be studying about birds' behavior, how they eat, how they build their nest, how they fly, how parent birds take care of their young ones. Let us start from bird's beak. Different birds have different types of beaks depending upon the type of food they eat. Beaks may be short, long, hard, shaggy, and horny. They are used to crack nuts, pick and eat grains, to tear flesh and crush their prey. First one is strong and hooked beak. This type of beak is used for tearing flesh. Birds like eagle, owl, and vulture have strong and hooked beaks. See children, as you all know, vulture and eagle are the meat eaters. So, as they are meat eaters, their beak is sharp and hooked. It helps them to tear the animal's flesh. Strong chisel-shaped beak. This type of beak is found in the birds that drill the wood to crack the nuts. For example, birds like whoopie and woodpecker use their beaks to drill the wood to make their home or in search of insects in the tree trunk. So, woodpecker has a very strong sharp beak. It can make holes in the hard tree trunk. This is how it makes its nest. And woodpecker also catches insects hiding in the trunk. Long pointed beak. This type of beak is used for poking or probing into a flower. Birds like sunbird and hummingbird have such type of beaks. So examples you can see over here, hummingbird and sunbird. Children, these birds, they have a long pointed beak because they have to stuck and sting into a flower. And for that, they have a long pointed beak. Strong, short and hard beak. This type of beak is used to crack the nuts and eat the grains. Birds like parrot, pigeon and sparrow have strong, short and hard beak. That is, these sparrow and hens are the seed eaters and they have a short beak to break and crush the seeds. And apart from this, a parrot's curved beak. Can you see the curved beak in this picture? A parrot's curved beak helps it to eat hard seeds, nuts and fruits. Broad, soft and flat beak. This type of beak is used for digging up the mud underwater. In search of food, ducks, goose, swans, spoonbill have broad and flat beaks. Beak of duck has strainers along its sides. Through these strainers, mud and water seep out, and the tiny plants and insects remain inside the duck's mouth. Children, a duck beak is very special. It takes the muddy water in its flat beak. Insects and the plants remain inside, and what happens? The water flows out of holes in its lower beak. Now, feathers. Now we will study about the feathers of the birds. Now, body of bird is covered with four kinds of feathers. Body feathers, flight feathers, down feathers and tail feathers. First we will study about Body feathers. Body feathers are those which help to give shapes to the bird's body. Flight feathers. Feathers that are attached to the wings and tail of the bird are bigger in size and stronger. They help the bird to fly. These are known as flight feathers. Flight feathers have control, rod or quill. These feathers are tightly knitted. Down feathers. These are fluffy and soft and keep the bird warm. Tail feathers. A bird uses its tail feathers for steering and braking. Some male birds have long or brightly colored tail feathers. They use them to attract females. Now, children, let us discuss four types of feathers. First is body feathers. Body feathers help to give the bird's body its shape. That means the feathers which help to give shape to the bird's body is related to body feathers. Now, second one is flight feathers. Flight feathers are found on the wings and tail. They help the birds to fly. By the word only flight, you're able to understand that they are generally found on the wings and tail because they help the bird to fly. Third one is down feathers. Now they generally keep the bird warm. Tail feathers. A bird uses its tail feathers for steering and braking. To control the movement of their body, these tail feathers are generally used. And they also attract the females. Fine? Because the tail feathers are very colored. They are very beautiful. They are brightly colored tail feathers. Birds flight. Birds fly with the help of wings. The wings of a bird make two movements, namely the upstroke and downstroke. It is quite like how we move our arms when we swim. What makes a bird fly? A bird's body is well suited for flying. A bird body is boat shaped. This helps it to cut through the air easily. Its bones are light and hollow. This makes its body very light and suitable for flying. A bird has wings instead of arms. The wings are joined to its body with very strong muscles. The muscles help the wings to fly up and down. Its tail helps it to change direction while flying. So, children, how birds fly? You have to keep these points in mind that first of all, its body is boat shaped. So why it is boat shaped and how it helps to move, that is, this helps it to cut through the air easily. That means aeroplanes also have boat shaped body. Have you seen? So what they do, they generally cut through the air and fly easily. Similarly, these birds have boat shaped body. Secondly, second feature you can say its bones are light and hollow, and that is why this makes its body very light. Third thing, very important, that a bird has wings instead of arms. That is, the wings are joined to its body very strong muscles, and these helps the wings flap up and down. What they do, what birds they generally do, they flap up and down with the help of these strong muscles. Now, flying differently. Some birds like crane, pigeon, crow can fly very long distances. Hen and peacock fly only short distances. Eagle and vulture fly high up in the sky. Sparrow and bulbul fly lower down. Kiwi and emu cannot fly. That is, different birds have different features, how they generally fly. Pigeons and geese, you can say, they fly very long distance. And hens and peacock fly only a short distance. Similarly, vultures and eagles fly high up in the sky. You have seen also that how they fly high up in the sky. And but sparrow and bulbul oppositely fly lower down. And there are few birds which cannot fly. Example, kiwi. Ostrich, feet and claws. Most of the birds have 2 feet and 4 clawed toes. Feet help them to stand and walk. The shape and structure of the claws depend on the place the birds live and the feeding habit of the bird. The claws help them in balancing, walking, swimming, and wading in water and catching the prey. Perching birds like sparrow, crow, and parrots have 3 toes pointing forward and 1 toe pointing backward. These help them in holding the branches tightly while sitting on the trees. That is, birds like crows and sparrows perch on the branches. Children, they have generally 3 toes in front and one at the back. Now, what is the role of the back toe? Generally, this back toe curls around the branch so the bird does not fall off because the bird has to hold of the branch, and this back toe curls around the branch so the bird does not fall off. It stays on the branch when the wind blows hard and even when it sleeps. Water birds like duck and geese have webbed claws for swimming. The front toes of these birds are joined by skin, giving them a flat appearance. These help them to paddle and push water while swimming. Now, what happened? The these swimmers like ducks have webbed claws, or you also can say webbed feet. They have skin growing between their toes. This skin is called a web. Now, this webbed foot is like a paddle. Understood? It is like a paddle. And have you seen the swimmers push the water back easily while swimming? Similarly, these ducks, they generally have a webbed foot and they uses their webbed foot as a paddle, and which helps them to push the water back easily while swimming. Flesh-eating birds like vulture, eagle, and peacock have strong and sharp claws to seize and crush their prey. These are called talons. Now, these eagles have very sharp claws called talons because they have to catch live rats and some other live animals. These animals can be small also and they can be big also. So you have to very much particular about how these animals generally depend on these animals and how the bird's feet and claws size and shape helps them to protect themselves and to feed on the other animals. Understood? So these vulture, eagle and peacock, they have a sharp claws called talons to catch live rats and other small animals. Scratching birds like hen and pearl have sharp and hard claws to dig the ground. Hens like to scratch the ground. Why? To find seeds and insects. So they have strong legs and hard claws. Climbing birds like woodpecker have 2 toes pointing in the upward direction and 2 toes in the downward direction. These toes help them to climb up and hold onto trees. Wading birds like heron and crane walk through water. Cranes have long legs with spread out toes that help them to walk in water. These birds pick up fish from the water. Now we will discuss 2 types of birds. First is the climbing birds, woodpecker. Children, what happens that woodpecker can climb trees. They have 2 toes in front and 2 at the back. These help them to cling on the tree trunk. And when we talk about waders, that is like crane, they have a long legs and long spreading toes. They can walk in shallow water without getting wet. These spreading toes make sure that they do not sink in the wet mud. That is why these birds pick up fish from the water. A bird's home nest. Birds build their nests to lay eggs. They, they build their nest high up on the trees, in walls and cliffs, on the ground or in the houses. Birds make a temporary home with twigs, leaves, and grass, which is used mainly for laying eggs. They hatch the eggs and take proper care of the young ones until they are ready to fly. After that, the birds leave their nest. Different birds make their nest in different ways. Civet or plover lays eggs in crab on the ground. Water birds make their nest on or beside the water. See, some birds use twig, leaves, mud, dry grass to build their nest, while some other make their nest on or by the side of the water. So birds build their nest to lay eggs because they build their nest up high up on the trees. You can see also, and in this picture it's clear over here that nest of a bird here makes a temporary home with twigs, leaves and grass, which is used mainly for laying the eggs. Now different birds make their nest in different ways. Like water birds make their nest on or by the side of the water, and plover lays eggs in the scrap on the ground. Pigeon and sparrows make their nest in our homes. Crow, parrot, and others make their nest on trees. Cuckoo never makes a nest. It lays its egg in crow's nest. That is, pigeon makes its nest in our homes. Crow parrot makes their nest on trees. And cuckoo never makes a nest. Cuckoo bird generally lays its egg in crow's nest. Now, tailor bird makes its nest by swing two or three large leaves. It uses its beak as needle and bits of wool, grass or spider's web as thread. What happens? The tailor bird uses its beak like a needle and it threads various materials like plant fibers through the holes in the leaf to construct a cradle-like pocket, makes a pocket. It then makes a nest with grass and some other soft material inside this pocket. The weaver bird weaves its nest with grass. Its nest is bottle shaped. It is very cozy and safe. Children, in this generally the male weaver bird build nest and female bird chooses the most comfortable nest to lay eggs. The woodpecker makes holes deep in the bark of a tree as we have already discussed. Vultures and eagles build untidy nests of wings and branches. Penguins make nests out of pebbles. Pebbles means stones. So penguins make nests out of stones. Their nests are on the ground. Partridges make a shallow hole in the ground which is surrounded by tall grass. It lines the hole with grass and leaves to make it cozy. Owls make their nest in the hollow of a tree or a wall. See, partridges, what they generally do, they generally make a deep hole in the ground surrounded by tall grass. So that tall grasses, what they generally do, they protect the nest and they generally sit on those eggs to make it warm. And owls make their nest in the hollow of a tree or a wall. Now, caring of young ones. Like other creatures, birds also take care of their young ones. Once the eggs are laid, they have to kept warm. This is mostly done by the mother bird who sits on the eggs most of the time. The father bird keeps watch and also brings food for the mother bird. The baby bird keeps growing inside the egg and uses the yolk as its food. When it is big enough, the young birds come out cracking the eggs. Young birds are very weak. They have no feathers and their eyes are closed. When the baby bird gets feathers and is strong enough, their parents them to learn flying and searching for food. When the chicks are fully grown and independent, they leave them to face the challenges. See, children, birds take care of the young ones by building a nest for them. They sit in the nest to provide warmth to their young, and they also go out to get food for them and feed them. They teach them to fly and watch over them as they learn. I hope you have understood this lesson, and if you have any problem, you can text me a message regarding any of the queries. Thank you.